What's going on? Move the Mouse here, back in City Skylines, the town of Winterfell, with our Let's Play Season 5, Episode number 17. And you'll be happy to know that I checked that first, so I'm sure it's Episode 17. I just want to continue doing some maintenance and filling in some things here. We've got a lot more demand for residential and especially commercial. So let's give the people what they want and get started on that today. Now we've got kind of a commercial strip up here. Commercial strip up there, and I'm thinking since we need more commercial, I think I'd like to fill in this street kind of going north to south and do that, and then we'll fill in a lot of the space that we have in between the neighborhoods with some of the residential. So we've got that there. We'll do low density residential alongside that and in these side streets. And this one I want to keep kind of wide open. I think these neighborhoods we might want to fill in a little bit because there's definitely some dead space in there. Maybe we connect a street through here. Let's do that before people start moving in too much. We don't want to move them in to move them right back out. Now, I don't want to overlap too much of my existing zoning. I'd like to kind of maximize it. So we'll come to here and then come off at a little bit of an angle. And let's dezone this stuff here and make that residential on this strip. Don't need little corner stores moving in right next door on the same plot as residential, so we'll undo that. And we'll leave a little buffer there. Fill all that in. This one also will be nice. We'll have probably a dead-end street here because I don't want to intersect here. This is too close to that rotary. And same thing here. I don't want to intersect with this road that's accessing the rotary. So we'll come in right about here. Let's even curve this one. So we'll go like that and maybe just bend it up a little bit towards this area to really fill in that zone, that negative space. And then again, we'll just fill all this in with low density res. Undo that little piece right there. Let's move that business out. I don't think we need these power lines here anymore. I think we're spreading power okay. But we'll find out in a minute if we have all kinds of problems. It should be passing the power up here, and as people move in, it will carry the power across this way. West to east. Not going to move anybody in on this strip. If we did, it would probably be commercial because it's more high traffic area. But let's fill the rest of this in. And that should meet our zoning requirements pretty well. And we'll fill in up here. And what did I miss? I missed this. So let's get that all connected. Looks like we get some trucks choosing to pass through here. They might be heading to commercial businesses. Hopefully. I don't think they'd be using that as a route to get to the highway. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So it looks like a few trucks are. This has settled down pretty nicely. Let's take a look at our traffic. Kind of see where we're at from an info view perspective. 81%. We've definitely got a couple heavy roads. This one, you know, we want the traffic on these kind of arterial roads. So you've got your highways dump off into arteries. And this one's busy, as you can see, coming all the way into the center circle here. Not really a circle, I guess. I'm not sure what shape that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a fifth curved side. Something odd. I'm sure there's a name for it. But yeah, we've got a couple little spots of congestion. This street is just too short for its own good. So people are kind of slowing down there. But things aren't backing up into the next intersection. That's what's most important. Intersections can get slow as long as they don't spill off onto the side streets or too far back, then we're in pretty good shape. And, you know, 80%, could we get better? Sure. Is it bad? Not at all. You know, we've got, again, some spots here and there. And the industry is pretty rough right now. And industry in general is having a lot of problems over here. So there's not enough workers. If you ever are wondering what a particular problem is, with no tool selected on PC, you can click a building, or you can highlight the house with the magnifying glass. That is the inspector tool, and you can click on a building. It will tell you what that pop-up means. In this case, it's not enough workers. So there's not enough people getting over here, right? So it might be too far for them to come over. It might be that we just didn't have enough workers in the city. When you have a massive residential demand, it could be that, you know, you don't have enough people to fill the jobs that exist in your city currently. We do have, I believe, let's double check, one metro route that kind of runs around the city. And it does deliver people into the park, the industrial park, but it doesn't necessarily get them exactly where we need to go. So we could do some bus routes around here. That may not be a bad idea, to move people around a little bit, but we haven't done any busing yet, so let's do that. We'll throw a bus depot in the middle of this block. Right about there. And let's do some bus routes. So you are starting here and arriving into the zone thanks to the metro. Let's make it easier for people to get around. And let's see, these are really long blocks. So normally you wouldn't do bus stops on the same block, but they're pretty locked in here. So let's go like that before we bring people back up. And maybe we can stop here. That's not going to be the best bus stop, but that is okay. And then we'll close that loop off. So that kind of gets people feeding up down the middle avenue. Now we can kind of start a weird line here, and we'll start one here, and we'll come down this way, maybe about halfway down the block before we stop at this block. Maybe we'll even stop there. And we can stop like every other block on the way back through here. And we'll close that loop off. They can actually use this 2-lane road to make a U-turn at the end, which is nice for our routes. And then let's do one more that kind of supports the other half. So this isn't too far to ask people to walk from the metro. In fact, you can see people are doing that already. And just to space things out a little bit, we'll come over a street. And let's do some stops down here. Before we circle people back up. And they do kind of have to make this long route to come back up, use this entrance back from the highway to loop back around, but that's okay. Again, it's going to hopefully get people going from metro to moving to other places. It is already causing some backups though, and this will happen at first because you have all the buses kind of spawning at the same time. They should start moving, but you can see we already have two buses kind of waiting behind one another, and this is a narrow 2-lane street, so it's slowing everybody down, unfortunately. That will get better and shouldn't continue to be a problem, but we definitely want to prevent this because this was all flowing nice and smooth before. Now we've got all this backup happening over here, so the buses are actually causing a bit of a problem right now because we don't have bus lanes. Now the bus lane roads are 4-lane roads. There's no other way around it, unfortunately. We could convert these, but I made this grid so tight that we would be eating into zoning and moving businesses out and having smaller businesses move in if we were to support that. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Again, looks like, as you can see, it's already smoothing out. So we should be good there. Maybe that will help get more people into this zone and get them to work if they don't have to go through as much effort to get to the business that they might work at. Only time will tell, though. Ideally, Metro is a great way to solve those problems, though, because you can go underground and not interrupt your traffic flow at all. It's by far my favorite. Now, you can see we've got a ton of garbage problems happening over here. So let's go ahead and assume that this one recycle plant is not enough to support this zone. That's what we've got right now. We've got 2. Huh. All right, let's throw in a 3rd. Put it right next to the bus station. Cause some pollution here, but won't really mind too much, we hope. Pollution at the hospital probably isn't a good thing, but I'm not sure that that matters. Worst case, people get sick, they come to the hospital, they get sick at the hospital because of the pollution, then we get to treat them again. And I'm going to hope that that means we can bill them and make more tax revenue and have all sorts of fun sending them back and forth from the hospital and getting them sick again. We'll see, though. As you can see, again, there's a ton of problems with some of these businesses. They don't have enough workers, and then they eventually go out of business. And I'm going to keep coming in here and clean these up every once in a while. Uh-oh. It wouldn't be an episode of a Move the Mouse video without something bursting into flames. Sometimes it's tough to spot with all the smoke that's coming out of here. All right, where is our fire department? Our fire department is way up here. They've got to make that trek down the main road. Traffic is flowing pretty good. It flows poorly over here because these all get stuck on this side. And this is something I definitely want to improve. I want to move this back from the road and have its own separate collector lane. In fact, I think that is a good project for today because this is one of our biggest traffic problems. Let's take a look. Like, look at that concentration of red traffic over here. And all this gets backed up, which causes this to get backed up, which doesn't help over here. So everything's just kind of slow going through there. There's our fire department finally arriving. I'm pretty sure they're going to be too late to this one. I could be wrong, though. They're taking their sweet time. I mean, you got to be safe, but... Come on. There we go. Right? Fire's out. All right. Good job. Good job. All right. Yeah, let's do that. Let's add a little collector lane right here to hopefully help out. Traffic is definitely slowing down over here. So let's get people off of this road. Let's move this around. So we're going to have to gut a bunch of this. Let's hit pause. Let's delete these power lines. We'll come back in and connect that after the fact. And let's break all these rails. And we'll get this connected after the fact. We've got so much money in the bank, I'm just going to delete this and recreate it. So, let's get off of this street. We'll come back. Let's come back 10 units. We'll go to the edge of this zone before we hook it back in. And maybe even what we could do to keep things flowing a little bit better is let's do this. We'll drop our train station in. So cargo hub. We'll put it in over here. And we're just going to keep that road right here. And I actually did a two-way road. We don't need that. We want a one-way road for this. So that's good. Now what we can do to keep things moving is we will make this an exit ramp, basically. So we'll come out to here. We'll curve it in. We'll do the same thing coming out. So we'll do something like that. So all this traffic that's going to the train station is now going to divert off to there. If you were going to this train station, you would continue through the zone anyways and follow this around. So let's get our train tracks hooked back up. And then we can fix our power lines that we disconnected also. So let's come back one more length here. 2 more lengths even. Let's curve this in properly so that it doesn't look too wonky. So we can just connect that up direct. We can also provide a bypass route here. We'll come out around that before we hook it back into the rails that are under here. You know what? Can we... Let's bring this under. And hook it back up over here somewhere. Something like that. So that's our bypass route. And then we can hook this one up like that. And then back over to our power because we did disconnect the grid over here. So let's get that set back up. Now this should help divert some of the traffic flow. The other thing we can do is over here is if people are down here coming this way, let's get them off as well. Now if you're going to that train station, you're gonna come off to this exit now. So let's hit play. It's gonna take people a minute to realize that that's there. So some of these trucks may actually, unfortunately, route all the way back around through the zone. And we have a heating problem. Forgot to extend the pipes over there. 2,200 for heating pipes, if you want that perfect little bit of overlap. So we'll do that. And we can see we're already diverting some traffic over here. It is entering back onto this road, though. So I'm thinking, is there a better spot we could do that? Because right now that's the problem right here. Is that this is kind of slowing everything down, this segment right here. Now I wonder if we did something like this. We don't have any zoning on this road. So if we changed these 2 segments right here to a single lane exit ramp, what I'm hoping this will do is traffic here, when this hits 2 lanes, will take the left lane, I hope. And this traffic should take the lane closest to it, the right lane. But this is just guesswork and conjecture right now, so let's hit play and see. No, it looks like they're all shifting into the same lane, unfortunately. It does look like it's getting a little bit better. But our backups happen on different spots now. So where we're backing up is not on this main road. So at least that keeps this flowing. And for any trucks in this area, they should at least be able to flow on by. You would hope. So hopefully that will make a little bit of a difference in the long run. Again, only time will tell. You got to let it run for a little bit. Because sometimes when you are solving traffic problems, you actually create a short-term traffic problem because everybody starts routing to that new route and you'll get more congestion than would normally be the case. Over here, this is really unfortunate that this is happening. It's something that you could kind of cure with Traffic Manager. We could also do a little roundabout here to kind of keep things flowing. And I don't know what it is about cities. I do know what it is about cities. It's more of a European thing, right? The people to the right have the right of way. And that is very backwards to people that think in terms of American traffic. So the default behavior of the game is a little different from what we would do in the United States, which is, you know, this is kind of perceived as the road, the main road. This is a little side road. These people would normally be yielding to the people already on that road, but that does not seem to be the case. in Europe and in cities, and it throws things off from time to time when you design roads as you would see them in real life in North America. But that's a little tune and tweak to our industrial area. Let's go take a look at some of the other parts of our town. It's probably a good time to mention that Friday's episode will be the last episode of Winterfell for a little bit, because I'm doing some reboots. And let me tell you my plans for the channel coming up over the next month. So I'm going to be rebooting the how-to series, because enough things have changed since that was out that I think that would be useful. It's also potentially the way that a lot of the viewers that are watching this right now may have discovered my channel. It's certainly my biggest viewership in terms of overall series, and it's good to kind of help out those new builders. And let's see what happened here. We have a one broken pipe that's not providing water to this area. Let's demo that, and let's just carry heat and water through there. But yeah, I want to reboot the how-to series. So I'm going to be building a new town for you veterans of the game. It'll definitely be a little bit on the easier side. It's sort of a let's play, but it's also really breaking down and talking about those mechanics from the ground up. And I'm going to try and do it kind of milestone by milestone, but also getting into the DLC content. The only stuff we won't be covering on that is Industries, obviously, because that is not out yet on consoles. When that does, though, we'll update it. So I want to go through the how-to series and, again, kind of reboot that. But then the other thing I want to do is, as we start to get into more advanced topics, I want to start doing some style guides. We're going to talk about, how to set up a New York grid, how to set up a more free-flowing European-type city, how to do things like American suburbs. So there's going to be a lot of different topics that we'll cover. And for some of those videos, we're going to be rebooting and revisiting previous tutorial cities. And my very first city that I created on console, unfortunately, I deleted the save game for. I did not realize that I didn't save a backup. But I do have my second city, and that's the one that I did a lot of my early tutorial videos on. And I will say that although I had a good functional understanding of the game, man, was it aesthetically unpleasing. 6-lane roads everywhere. Like, it was the only option. It was the only way I knew how to deal with traffic. So I want to go back and revisit and redesign those, sort of look at the city and talk about what problems it has and how to fix those. Not just from, originally designing the city to be successful, but looking at and analyzing problems and taking a city that's already up and running and making it function better. So hopefully those will be entertaining topics for everybody. But again, we'll take a break for a bit from Winterfell. We'll start a new how-to city, and that'll be Monday, Wednesday, Friday how-tos. And we'll still keep the schedule the same for Thursdays and Sundays. So Thursdays are our nights to stream random nonsense, and Sundays is the City Skylines build on PC. So take one last look at Stark Park for now. And what I'll do on Friday's episode is I'm going to do kind of a cinematic look and fly by and show you some of my favorite parts of the city. And again, we'll put Winterfell on hold for just a little bit as summer comes in the Northern Hemisphere. We'll put the snow away and revisit it in a little while. But hopefully that will be entertaining and informative to you. Like I said, it's going to be treading on very beginner ground for the veterans. But if you want to check out the series, it's always great to have veterans in the comments. And sometimes I forget things, and sometimes it's good to remind newcomers of all the capabilities and mechanics of the game. So as always, some of you are great regular commenters and very helpful in the comments on the Discord. So I appreciate that so much because obviously it's tough for me to keep up with all the time. So yeah, so Winterfell, it has been very fun, and we will return to it. Especially when Industries comes out. I want to drop some industrial parks in here and maybe make use of all these trees and come up with a nice forestry industry from the Industries DLC perspective. So for now, this has been Winterfell. We definitely have some problems to revisit, but it's a successful city. It's making good money for the population, 28,000 per period. with 45,000 pop is really good. Of course, we're not funding and having to pay for things like the really expensive monuments, because we weren't able to drop those in at this population. But we'll come back and we'll drop in some fun landmarks and some of the uniques that aren't the massive skyscrapers and things like that. But we'll fill this town out in a future episode. But hopefully you've enjoyed Winterfell. And if you've enjoyed this episode, likes, comments, shares always help the channel a lot and are greatly appreciated. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications. But I have a feeling if you're this far into the Let's Play, you're probably not new here. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord to get involved in the discussion, and keep an eye out on Friday when we'll do a cinematic flyby of Winterfell and take one last look at it before we put it away for a while for the how-to series and for rebooting some of the previous tutorial cities. So stay tuned. We'll be returning to Springwood, Springdale, Santa Rica, and lots more topics that we'll cover in a new city as well. So how to start up next week. Hopefully you can join. If I can get everything working, there's a VR live stream tomorrow night. So come watch me make a fool of myself with a Rift headset on. And then Sunday we'll get back into cities on PC with a live stream. So check the Discord for the full schedule. Until the next one though, when we'll take one last look at Winterfell, this is Move the Mouse signing off.